Hello, welcome to Furious Driving. Although today it's more a case of furiously walking around with my mouth scraping on the floor, agog at this thing. This is a car I'm pretty sure you have never seen before in the flesh. So don't say I don't bring you interesting and exciting and different cars. If this isn't different enough for you, I don't know what is. This is a 1976 Nissan Silvia S10. Now, as it says on the side of the car, this is the new Silvia. It ran from 1975 until 1979, so this new 1976 car was a year into production. This is actually the second car to wear the Silvia name. There was an earlier car in the 60s which bears no resemblance to this almost whatsoever. Very short-lived car. Now the more modern Silvias, S13, S14, S15, again bear no relation to this whatsoever. But are more notorious, have more of a fan base. There's very little fan base for this particular car because there are virtually none left. I think you can count the numbers surviving in the UK on the fingers of one foot. This car is currently, or has just arrived, at Stone Cold Classics here in Rootham in Kent, where it will be for sale imminently. It is showing up as taxed and MOT'd on the DVLA website, but I think that's just because it's over 40 years old. It is in need of some recommissioning work. Well, it drives under its own power quite happily, but it has been parked up for quite a while, so it could do with a full service before it's driven, really. Now, the styling of this thing really is quite striking. It's based on the platform of the Nissan or Datsun B210, but with more power extracted from its 1.8 litre engine. That bonnet is quite vast. It's very, well, a Japanese take on Americana. As we've got some British cars from the 60s and 70s which are a British take on Americana. This is the Japanese take on it. It is really interestingly styled. The front end is full of recesses and protrusions. The headlights are sat right back in this plastic trim, which then rolls into this, well, concertinaing grille area, into the other headlamp, which is all enclosed, which is a very American style thing, very Buick Skylarky actually, with the, also very quite American, are the big indicator lamps underneath the chrome bumper, and then driving spot lamps. These are Nissan lights. Check the Nissan logo in there. Kyoto, Japan. Quite yellow in a very French manner. But this colour green, combined with these twin shapes moulded into the side of the car. One going virtually straight across the length of the vehicle, and the other one, which as the car bowls out in the side, swoops down. This is very much like Buick Skylark, those kind of things. Big American barges, but in a small Japanese sports coupe. And this rear end is quite, I don't know how to describe this even. It's a very heavy flank on the side of the car. It's, I guess, trying to copy the American muscle car style here, where it just appears quite heavy, but then you have these very sharp Datsun Z car-esque pointy rear lights. Can't say I've ever seen one of these cars before. I'm absolutely certain I would have remembered it. And you notice this stainless trim which wraps around the top of the windscreen, wraps around the top of the windows, flows down into the seat post, but this air vent continues to line. Even though there's a brake, it continues to flow. Very interesting. Then we've got these tail lights which wrap around the full width of the rear of the car. Looks like a Jag XJS from the mid-70s. And this is an interesting little protrusion here. These safety rubber bumper bits, so I guess they were thinking very much of the American market, although this actually wasn't introduced into America until 1977 when there was a facelift. I'm just walking around looking at the exterior of the thing because it is absolutely fascinating. Check out these alloy wheels, for example, with the Silvia centre caps. Absolutely captivating, and then a little squared or cammed off rear wheel arch, which makes the rear wheel look very, very small indeed. It's a, what size is it? A 13-inch alloy. That is absolutely tiny on a car of this size. I don't know if you saw that as well. It has got leaf-sprung rear suspension on this. Although it is designated as a sports car, the handling was not that great. This front suspension is lifted from the Datsun B210 or 510, so it's not a world-beating sportsman machine. We do have very, very mid-70s wing mirrors perched right out on the front of the wings here, above these large corner markers. And as you come down and drop down, you see how the front of the car is quite cleverly designed to hold together as one sort of continuous shape rather than a separate bumper, even though it is a big chrome bumper into that plastichrome grille. Let's get inside and have a look around the inside of this thing, because it's also incredibly fascinating. Got pillarless windows with green tinted glass, green paint, green carpet and green seats. We even have basically a green dashboard. A lot of green going on. I'm guessing this car was spec'd by a leprechaun. Right, so we've got integrated headrests in the front seats, incredible velour corduroy stuff for the front. Well, they're integrated bucket seats, aren't they? They are quite fantastic. And underneath here we have got very, very green carpet, which is protected by this big mat. Let's probably look at the dashboard. Let's have a quick look in the back. So we've got the same bright emerald green velour stuff for the rear seats, green seat belts in the rear as well. So forward and safety thinking, very tight on the headroom in the back. The brown, all of the brown for the headlining back here. And where it looks big and heavy on the flanks on the outside, it's also quite big and dark. Not great for the rear seat occupants. But this isn't really about the rear seat occupants, this is about the front seat occupants. It has got dropping rear windows with the keep fit cranky handles. Let's get in the front. And have a look around. Okay, so it's quite hard getting in because the seat, let's move the seat back a bit. Yeah, the steering wheel does come quite low on your legs. It's quite awkward to get in. We have a horn. Whoa, that's serious hornage. Now we've got a massive array of lights, dials, control. It's all really sculpted around the driver to make it a real cockpit kind of experience. So we've got our water temperature, our voltage, speed in kilometers an hour, our tacho, and oil and fuel gauges all here. I love the multiple colour options around the speedo and the tacho, so giving you the full warning of what's going on. And it's all cowled in under this large dark green T-shelf, and then integrated, moulded into the dashboard. We've got a medium wave radio, AM it says, yes, AM radio, and check out the little tiny buttons here. Zoom in a bit. Check out these little tiny switches for parking lights, hazard lights. I'm guessing that's a window screen heater. And then these warning lights, these seatbelt exhaust temperature, I guess, and brakes. And if I fire this thing up, and it does fire up on the button, we get an array of Star Trek style Enterprise-like bank of warning lights. Pop it in reverse, and this is both startling and annoying. All the time you're in reverse, not just once to say you've gone into reverse, all the time you're in reverse. That just gets on your nerves like nothing else. But this car does just fire up straight away, and this gearbox is so slick. Just running around the car park a second ago, this is such a slick gearbox. And this is all very, very integral. It's a lovely bit of design. It may not be to your taste, but it is beautifully integrated. Got ventilation down beneath that. Cassette player. I thought it was an 8-track when I first climbed in. It's not. It's a side-loading Clarion cassette player next to an electric clock and the 5-speed gearbox. Shiny plastic on this bit around here. We have new Silvia here on the glove box, which is a little turny dial to open up. Tiny T-shelf. We have T-shelf free for small people. And very, very dark greeny door cards as well. This thing is absolutely fascinating. Oh, we've got a centre cubby as well. Some badges in the back here as well. And look at this steering wheel. Imagine trying to find another one of these steering wheels from somewhere. Let's pull the bonnet release and look under the front. Oh, it's even green for the headlights. So that beeps as well. Check out the Japanese plate on here. Or plate in Japanese, I should say. Information and stuff about the engine. 6,000 RPM. 2340mm. An L18 is the engine type. S10 is the chassis code. I'm sorry about the noise in the background. Killdozer is currently fighting something in the next field. This engine bay is really rather nice. So clean. firewall, the inner wings, it's all, well, it's just totally original. And all the more impressive for the fact there's virtually none left. There's maybe a handful in the world. More information here on the slam panel. I don't speak Japanese, so I have no idea what any of this is telling me. Yeah, this thing is incredible. Let's have a look in the boot if we can. So, even on the rear panel, a year into production, it's still saying New Silvia, and these are the reversing lights on the back. And it's quite a small boot area actually. Someone's carpeted it in green to match. But yeah, it's well, what you expect on a coupe really. What a fascinating little car. Something I didn't notice was the aerial attached on the outside of the driver's A-post. Japanese cars, it's a driver's A-post, whether it's Britain or Japan, its home market. And of course, good wipers. We can't take this on the road, but we're on an industrial estate, so it's private land. I can run it up and down just very quickly. Blown away by those 1950s science fiction alien headrests on this thing. That is so cool. Right, so let's fire the car up. I'm amazed how easily this thing starts. Wipers are on a turny dial here on the side of the steering column. Intermittent, permanent, excellent. Right, so I won't put the seatbelt on because we're in a car park. This is actually the same car park where I first drove Quentin the convertible. I'm wearing a t-shirt of Quentin as we speak. It's got lap belts, the Nissan badge on the centre of them, and it's only a lap belt which retracts right down, so it's spring-loaded into the door sill on my side. And if you notice the gear top, it's actually a dog leg first. Oh, that's smooth. No triangle of doom, you'll notice, so dog leg first. Oops, up into second, a bit tight. There's my Alfa Romeo just on the side where I turned up in that today. Lovely little engine, 1.8. Can't really do much of a handling experience as we are just literally driving around a car park. So reverse, now I understand why you've got the constant beeping. It's a dog leg first, so if someone climbs in without realising it's a dog leg, they slam it into reverse and then just go piling backwards into something they weren't expecting. That's actually quite a useful thing to have. Oh, this is fun, I like this car. I'm not sure where he wants this, so I'm going to pull up here. So there you have it, a quick 2-minute walk around of one of the rarest cars you'll ever see in your life. There's literally a handful of these things left on the planet. If you're interested in buying one of these, come and talk to Stone Cold Classics, where it is going to be for sale imminently. I'm flabbergasted. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, as always, like, subscribe, the usual stuff, and I'll see you again next time.